Hello, and welcome to Felonious Friday. Just another glorious Friday, Friday the 13th, which, I guess depending on what we feel about the number 13 can either be very lucky or very, very unlucky. And I am super excited because you know what? I'm joined by my beautiful, brilliant co-host, Allie. What's up, girl?
Hey, babe. Hey, all. And because Bob is double fives today, 55 and looking fly.
Why do we have to say the number? Can't we just say it's my birthday?
Happy birthday
So
to
old,
you.
55.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Thanks, babe. All right, so what we want to kind of do, we love these Felonious Fridays. We're not going to get too in depth on anything. We're going to do some surface level digs on all the stuff that's going on.
I'm sorry, babe. It's Friday the 13th, and there are mysterious drones in New Jersey. And I know you hate talking about this
I
with
don't
me.
hate it. It just bores me.
It's illegal
Different
to
things.
fly a drone with the location stuff turned off or over certain areas. So I feel like we should technically,
All right, here's what I want to talk about. So anybody in chat who's on to this drone shit, let Allison know in chat. Allie's gonna do a drone live like next week.
Oh,
so that's what we'll do.
wow.
So like she'll I mean, you're fascinated by it. Like, why wouldn't you do a live if you think there's something to it? Like, I don't have the bandwidth for it. I've got other things that I'm worried about. And I'm super big on the aliens. Like, if it has anything alien, I'm all about it.
Well, I don't know that it's aliens. It seems like drones, but drones and then some things, probably some private planes being now mistaken for drones because they really, depending on the time of night when you see them, look like they float all over the sky and the light hits something different when they're coming up or going down. So I feel like people at this point might be, but there's definitely some kind of almost car-sized drones up there. That there's too many people who've seen them.
Car-sized drones.
Bob doesn't understand. I told him
huge drones
that they're, like they had some drone maker guy on the news today, and he says, like, yeah, we got these vehicles. It's like people can sit in them and be transported in the sky. It's called a sky taxi.
Sky taxi.
Shit. It's going to be happening. It's going to be the
Sky
Jetsons.
cabs. Yeah. I mean, sounds really boring. All right. So, but I know you're all about it. Like
aliens,
I keep asking you, I'm like, give me what's the connective tissue for me to care about it? What is the big deal about it? Like, there's drones all up everywhere.
Yeah, but it's something nefarious. They can't figure out where it is.
What? How is it nefarious? What are they doing? It seems like they're just floating around being annoying.
They're out in like swarms flying over sensitive areas. Like, everyone in the world knows that this is an issue. So if it's just regular old drones, people be like, "Oh, sorry, that's my drone." I mean,
for the I have a real love-hate relationship with drones in general. I think they're fucking invasive as shit. So, like from that perspective, like I think they're creepy, but I think they can really do some cool shit. So it's like,
around like
do I
that's
hate
the
them? Do I
future.
love them? I don't know. Uh, so, but no, on the serious, I think that's a good idea. I think that would be kind of an interesting kind of tangential subject matter for a live. I think you'd probably get some people that are
I think
like
that's
it's
that me
clearly a
and Steve
story
could
that's
do.
garnering a lot of interest.
Me and Steve could
Like
do it together. What do you think?
exactly, you and Steve would be great. Like that's right up Steve's alley. Like Steve would love that
He
story.
publicly buzzed for any of you who don't know, but I'm sure most of you already do. Looks like Bob might be getting birthday presents over here. I'm just gonna have to talk about this real quick.
Oh,
Thanks,
that's
cool
so
lady.
sweet.
Again, she's like every time we're on, she's gifting memberships.
She's amazing.
Is
She's
this
an amazing
Kale?
person.
How would you say that? Kale? Well, thank you, adorable kitty cat. I'm not a kitty cat, Your Honor. I'm not a cat.
Judge,
Carol,
I'm
thank
not a
you.
cat. Judge. You
Birthday
see
gift for
that?
Bobby, Amanda the. Thank you.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Sinead, they're
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
coming for you, Bab.
Bap.
Bab. Aw, birthday present for from aspiring court reporter. Uh,
Oh, thanks, Sarah.
Taylor Swift and you share a birthday?
Me
Wow.
and Tay Tay. Me and Tay Tay. I knew she was amazing. Like me,
Yeah,
she's a super sag.
and Dawn's right. They're
Super
also
sag.
in South, California.
Wait,
They're
are you
in
pivoting back to the drones? I thought
well,
we
I
had
mean,
moved
gonna
on.
look, it's a super chat. We're gonna address it in an hour from now when no one knows what they're talking. What does she mean? They're also in Southern California. Um,
Yeah.
and Bob's favorite, Skynet. Thank you for your generosity, Rick.
That is, yeah, thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody. I really, really appreciate the generosity. Birthday,
Happy
birthday presents.
birthday, Bob from Nellie Wood. Thank you for your generosity.
You guys are so sweet. You guys are the
Dom's
sweetest.
mom loves the holiday theme. Hola, Dom's mom.
I do too. I was really badgering Mandy. I'm like, okay, I love Christmas and holidays. I need that background. Where's my snow and
And I
shit?
don't mind the snow, like, she did a very good job. She knows I don't want it, like, too busy with things, like, just bouncing all over.
No, those are very peaceful,
They're
nice
very,
flurries.
very yeah, that they don't
Yeah.
bother me. I like it. It looks great. She did an amazing job, and Jennifer
Mandy
wishes Bob
always
a happy
comes
birthday.
with the heat. That's what I'm saying. Like Mandy
And
always comes with
Marissa,
the heat.
may the Bears get a new head coach for Bob's birthday that doesn't suck. That
Ugh.
that would make Bob happy. They just need to be winning, and then Bob will be happy. But
Yeah,
thank
but
you for
like
your
the
generosity.
two things coincide, right?
Mhm,
You kind
mhm.
of need a decent head coach.
Oh, more
Otherwise,
birthday gifts. Dom's mom, happy birthday, Bob. Thanks for your
oh, thanks,
generosity.
Mom's mom.
And Aunt
Aunt
Nancy.
Nancy. Thank you. Thank you.
All
Thank
right, I'm
you.
gonna
You
warn
guys-
you guys now, we got a hard stop at 5:30, so I'm gonna let Bob get to it, and then we'll circle back to super stickers afterwards.
All right, cool. Let's start with Luigi.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you would want me to
Luigi.
put up the letter. Okay.
Let's start with Luigi. You know what? I like that idea. Let's start with Boone. Let's start. And you're doing the reading. I control nothing. You can read as
Okay.
much or as little. Like she's batshit crazy, and people want to hear the letter. I can just tell you that.
I'm sure
And
they do.
it's
We
like
just didn't have time the other night. Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Uh-oh. This content's no longer available.
What?
Not
What
on the
you mean?
Discord anyway. Did someone download it? I didn't download it.
Oh my god. Now you don't have I asked you before we went
Well, I
live.
had it. I have it. I'm looking at it in this text, but when I click on it, it's a whole different story.
Oh man. I think Luigi may have really
Let's see. I'll try to find it
kind of
online.
I think he's got access to computers and gotten your shit maybe.
Well,
Seems
I
like it.
did hear, and I'm sure that you're actually gonna. So never mind. I don't even need to go there. I forgive you letter, or let's see if I can find it. No, it's not the actual letter. It's Court TV talking about the letter. Oh, here it is.
Oh, boom.
There we go.
Boom.
Whew. Gonna download this puppy right now so that if it disappears from somewhere else, we got it.
Yeah, so like while Allie's pulling that up, basically we're gonna do a Luigi Mangione update. We're going to do kind of a collateral case to that. This case that just popped up with Brianna Boston, who apparently was on the phone with her insurance company and made threats about, like
Oh my God.
quoting Luigi.
You've got now that you've said it, I feel like you've got to do that first. But all right, we'll wait. We'll wait. I'll
We'll
stay
wait.
on
We'll
track.
wait.
It's hard,
We'll wait.
it's hard for me.
Squirrel. What? Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's kind of like that.
yeah,
Kind of like that.
just a little bit.
A little bit.
Don't talk shit, babe.
Oh, girl. It's all love. It's all love.
All right. So is that large enough? Can you guys see it?
It's huge.
Okay. So I will start from the beginning. Since December 6th, she wrote this letter. She filed it December 11th, 12:50 p.m. She's referring to the judge as Mr. And what is it? Kranick or Kranick?
Yeah, that's the judge. Yeah. Michael Kranick.
Okay. Mr. Michael Kranick. I'm enclosing, please, my complete statement to you and the world, as I partially read during my sentencing hearing. By my reserving particular parts of my very true and meaningful statement, I was hoping to have been graced with your forgiveness, understanding, and consideration in any level or degree. For me, unfortunately, and regardless of whom I had speak on my behalf or the number of, your ignorant mind was already made up.
Wow.
By your clear error and full-blown unfair bias against me since your involvement in my crucible case as a whole, I have been unsuccessful in receiving anything from you as a supposed fair and neutral judge, except for your wish that I spend the rest of my life in prison. How dare you, sir? Please
son of a
know.
bitch.
Please know and always
I can just
remember.
see her furiously writing this in her cell.
And it's still
too.
very neatly written.
Putting her dabbing, like old school dabbing the pen on her tongue. Oh,
I mean, she has a certain tone in her writing. She maintains it. It's
yeah, it's
impressive.
exactly what you can envision her speaking what she writes 100%.
Please know and always remember, Mr. Kranick, I forgive you still and sincerely. Please understand also the judge, according to Cicero, is never to lose sight that he is simply a man and that he cannot exceed the power given to him by his commission, that not only power but public confidence has been given to him, that he ought always very seriously to attend not to his wishes, underlined, but to the requisitions of law, of justice, and religion. Don't forget religion.
Mm.
I am excited in my appeal, which speaks for itself. My case law as well, in which I am extremely proud to have achieved. Don't know what that means. And will continue doing so now that I am no longer in your corrupt court and free from your malevolent judicial grip. Sarah Boone versus the state of Florida. I also have added to my statement as a result of your blindness and impartiality. Foremost, your disgust in me as being an outspoken woman, determined defendant, and proactive client, hoping the next time you put on your listening ears, do not unfairly oppress the next as you have so blatantly done me. You will never admit your many judicial errors, nor will the prosecutor theirs, and I will never admit to what you have wrongfully accused me of and judged me as. I am not a murderer. I am a survivor. Sarah Boone. I just like to say, I think she's both.
They're not
Wow.
mutually exclusive. That's
They're
for
not
sure.
mutually exclusive. All right. So this is, I don't know why this is exhibit like C, or if she's just lettering each. I guess she's just instead of numbering each page, lettering them.
Yeah,
So it starts out
she's
black.
different.
Yeah, black robe disease. She's made up her new term, and now she's gonna define it for the judge. So black robe disease, arrogance in a
Like
judge.
black lung,
Right.
except
I mean,
yeah.
she's literally writing the definition. She writes it with a dash, arrogance in a judge, a slang term for a judge who flaunts judicial power and dominates, is it that dominates proceedings at the expense of the dispensation of justice?
Mm.
Wow, it's like she's playing, balderdash over here.
All right, listen, balderdash dispensation is not a balderdash word. Like, that
No,
would be
black
when I'd
robe
get
disease
the
is. I'm saying black robe she
oh, right,
defined
yeah,
black robe disease,
that
and
is.
she a slang that I just made up just now. That's what she's basically saying. Impartiality is the first duty of a judge. Before he gives an opinion or sits in judgment in cause, he ought to be certain and absolute that he has no bias for or against either of the parties. If he has any interest, even the something slightest, the
Slightest,
something before slightest, even the
even the
Hmm. Something slightest in the cause. He is
huh,
disqualified from sitting as a judge, and when aware of such interest, ought to be lawfully and justfully and ought to lawfully and justfully refuse to sit on a case. The delicacy which characterizes the judges in this country generally forbids their sitting in such a cause. Dude, she doesn't even know what she's talking about.
she
Like
just writes words that don't quite fit.
and the fact of the matter is, to be disqualified as a judge, it takes a lot. It's not like in my heart, I hate this person. They can, in their heart, hate the person as long as they're being, fair in their
Impartial and, follow the law. That's all
right.
they
I mean,
can
the
hate your
only way to
guts.
establish, like, this judge can't sit there is, like, some guy at the bar is like, "I was at this bar, and this judge was just railing on this defendant, blah, blah, blah," or, like, something personal that doesn't have to do with her charges and doesn't have to do with the case. Anyway, I digress to do a Bobism. The judge must not only be impartial, but must also follow the and properly enforce the law, not abuse. He is bound to declare what law is and not make it, be not an arbitrator, but an interpreter of the law. It is their duty to be patient in the investigation of the case. Well, they don't investigate. Understand circumstances and difficulties by all parties, careful in considering parts of a case in whole, and decent in judgment. Or she cites the law library.
Mm.
I mean, the law dictionary or legal
Mm.
dictionary. I've never heard of
Not
that
even
one.
Black's,
Yeah, it's like,
Bouvier's Law Dictionary.
is that some
That's
English
some
shit?
that sounds like some, like, off-brand shit. Wherever she's at, they're like, "You know
2012
what? We're
edition.
not gonna give these prisoners the Black's Law Dictionary, we're gonna give them the Bouvier Law Dictionary." It's like the Urban Dictionary of law dictionaries. Maybe that's where she pulled up
I think
black
this could
robe disease.
I mean, it sounds not like it sounds French or English or you like it maybe it's not even American law, but whatever. But at the risk of
Is it throwing you
practicing
off because 'cause it's got Bouvier?
yeah, and it's like, to be patient in the
Maybe.
investigation of the case, I don't know.
Maybe. It's possible.
Alright, if I don't keep reading, it's gonna be 5:30 in a second. But as
Mhm.
the risk of but at the risk of practicing judicial criticism? Centricism? What is that?
Where are you at?
First line. Judicial
It
centricism?
looks like centicism, but it's gotta
Mm,
be centricism.
I don't
It's
know.
I'm
A word I have just coined in this presentation. Others have called it black robe disease. Whether he
uh,
was correct or not in my behavior, it is wildly accepted that judicial behavior affects the jury. And she's citing the Simpson trial in 1996.
Oh, I thought she was citing The Simpsons.
Mm.
Homer with all his sage words.
Murray Ritchell. I don't know who that is though.
Doe.
And then in there is the worst of judicial ailments, the black robe disease, which is otherwise known, you said this already, as arrogance. Lynn Toller, a practical guide to becoming an emotional genius. Oh my God. 2007. Trial judges are affirmatively charged with securing a fair trial and must intervene sua sponte to that end when necessary. Brown v. Waters, 1993. The duty encompasses not only the avoidance of error before it occurs, but the fair correction of error that may have occurred earlier in a proceeding. And they cite a federal case. In the instant case, the trial judge did not analyze the evidence. He added to it, dealing with a mere mannerism, with a mere mannerism of the accused in giving his testimony. The judge put his own experience with all the weight that could be attached to it in the scale against the accused.
His thumb on the
1933.
scale. The old thumb on the scale trick. Oldest trick in the book.
1933. So the only way that well, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to even give her blabberings. Never mind. So moving on.
Blabbering.
Right. Japanese ceramic style, which means to repair with gold. In this tradition, when ceramic piece breaks, an artisan will fuse the pieces back together again using liquid gold or gold dust lacquer. I feel like she said this before. So rather than being covered up.
Wait, yeah, that was her whole statement and elocution, remember?
Oh, she did say this is a copy of her.
Right, this is all the stuff that she did not say. This is the stuff she wanted to say, but that her lawyer made her pull out. Which, listen, we're going to pull out the black robe shit because you sound insane.
No, I think this is the entire things she did and things she didn't. So maybe if we realize we're really on to what she did say, we can skip on. This is definitely part of it, but I'll keep reading. You'll tell me if to move on or not. So rather than covering it up, the break.
How many pages do you have left?
23.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Can we skip? Maybe we skip the wisdom of the.
Well, I'm gonna look to see what, like,
cracks, like repairing cracks with gold dust.
Did she talk about that? Like ruining?
Yeah,
what about no? But did she talk about furniture and her family heirlooms? Yeah, so these are for all the things he did. Okay, so this is
she definitely said all that.
For this, for that. All right, let's just see. The rest of this might be everything she's already said. She forgives him for beating her senseless, threatening to kill her friends, stabbing people, driving her car drunk, causing her all this heartache. She's going to forgive the siblings. Don't forget that. Let's see if this is. I also forgive the Torres family. Yeah, she did say this for knowing what Jorge was and was capable of. She said all that. I hope they are.
Megan's like, this is actually a cool tradition. I wish she'd say. Is she ruining it for you, Megan? Spitfire hates it. She's like that. She's tarnishing that amazing Japanese tradition by it just coming out of her fat mouth. I could just see Sarah Boone like sitting in her cell. Like Sarah Boone strikes me as like she's writing a letter just in her cell, and she's got that orange, jumpsuit on, and like she just lifts her ass cheek when she has to fart, like while she's writing. Like I can see it. I can see her just like furiously writing and ripping ass from all that bad jail food. I don't know what it is. It's like a very vivid image in my head that I can't shake. And I don't want it. I don't want the image in my head, but it's true. It's like that guy. It's like the guy at the restaurant that cut the cheese the other day when we were eating a late night breakfast.
Do you guys remember if she, in her statement, forgave Frank J. Bankowitz for committing perjury? I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
All right, so here's what I'll okay, so this was when she was like, I do remember this one, like, that she was like, my prior attorneys, she forgave them for their horribleness. Um, well, I'm not sure. My gold also runs deep for my prior attorneys. Mauricio Padillo, who sold me the world with empty promises and abandoned his responsibility as my attorney after taking 2.5 years of my life, when finally realizing he was in over his head, all while hoarding, sorry, JAC dollars. I guess that maybe that's public money to fund his staycation with his family when in town from Miami, for having resources ready and available, not allowing me, the client, to ever utilize, which could have greatly progressed my case and perhaps concluded, only for him to decide water parks, fine dining, and choice hotels were more important on the JAC's dime. I
Mm.
forgive Frank J. Bankowitz for committing perjury to the judge and on court record about my attempts to be a proactive defendant and client, inquiring about my discovery and then trying to communicate with no answers or correspondence in any manner for 1 full year and 2 months before I was able to finally meet with him in the courtroom, only to receive his motion to withdraw. Frank J. Bankowitz is forgiven for his greed in taking $15,000 from JAC, who honorably aid indigent defendants as myself for taking advantage of and robbing the justice system by lying and avoiding clients taking their money and the JACs. Winston E. Hobson receives my forgiveness, who also unethically perjured himself to the judge and on court record about all the progress and attorney's work he did in my case for 2 months. He was court appointed as for his allegations of my supposed unethical requests, which meant me asking about my discovery and trying to have him file a motion for my lawful inclusion to my pretrial conference cited under Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure Discovery Rule. Well, those don't apply here, lady. That this is not a federal court. I wanted to be included in my case, and I know progress from being excluded by Bankowitz and Padilla over 3 years prior. Forgiveness, also in telling me he would return in a week with my discovery, only to receive his motion to withdraw in the meantime. Still not receiving my discovery, and I filing my own motion, something, abling me to go to all my hearings, including my pretrials. Continued forgiveness in his greed and selfish intentions, also for robbing the JAC indigent defendants of $15,000.
Those
More,
sons of bitches.
she said this already,
Oh,
uh, for nothing justifying in any work he really did in the handful of days he represented me. Finally, and with all my gold received from this one, I forgive Patricia A. Kathman for her mean, snotty, egotistical attitude and not listening or caring that I finally receive my discovery I kept asking for, which the fully withheld from me, citing her ridiculous, untrue reason was because I saw with my first attorney. Oh, saying that, okay, she didn't need it because she saw it with her first attorney 4 years prior. And while she, being my present at the time attorney, I saw not one page of or any digital evidence of my discovery that prohibited me from seeing. Patricia A. Cashman is also forgiven for admitting I had a right to a bond I asked her for so I could actually utilize one of my rights as opposed to having them always violated as prior and still ongoing, then her deterrence of all opportunistic opportunities to do so, for all her lies, condensation, gross unnecessary arguments, and anger that I asked any questions and wanted to understand, for her doing nothing other than give me an even harder time and request transcripts, then brazenly lie for over $16,000 for doing so. Also, from previous the precious resources provided from the JAC, I forgive Patricia A. Cashman for being a liar and a bully. I feel like we shouldn't be giving her shit air. Like, she's just so insane. Like, she thinks that anyone cares about this, and, like,
I do.
go
I
F
feel
yourself.
I feel very, very, very empathetic for poor old Sarah Boone. Not yeah, I mean, like, she's a windbag. Like, she's like a windbag of the highest order, really. I mean, I'm a windbag, but I feel like I at least have some value. She just like she throws like 5 cent words in a thing and pretends like she knows shit and she really doesn't know anything.
Oh my
She's
god.
like one of those friends that will debate you on anything and doesn't
But
really know anything about the subject matter that they're
but
debating, but
sure as
they never give up. They
she sure
never
as hell
give up.
thinks she does.
Well,
Here's her
that
asking for
that's
her
the point.
attorney's
That's
fees.
those people that do that do the same shit. They're like, I'm like, dude, like, and like before the advent of Google, that would be like a 7-hour bar debate, like where you didn't have any way to like prove your point,
Right.
and you just kept saying, so yeah, that's who she reminds me of.
All right.
That's
Here's
who
her
she
asking
is.
for her attorney fees. Forgiveness for all those who did not include me to receive my $15,000,
Share.
my $50,000 share I worked for when Judge Kranick forced me to be my own attorney to represent myself pro se. I actually and finally got my own discovery. Almost 5 years later, filed a motion all prior should have done, making them the most expensive negotiations or motions ever, and over 46,000 between 3 prior attorneys. Frank
Okay, here's
Mankiewicz,
what I would say to Sarah Boone. You were so shitty as a pro se attorney
you owe them
that
money.
you should refund the state $15,000 for not taking that 15-year deal you were offered, pinhead.
Yeah.
Like, this woman's going in for a long time because she didn't take that deal. I mean,
All
as
right.
soon as I heard that offer, I was like, what? I was like, what? Wait, they offered her 15 and she took a pass on it? I'm like, oh my God, this woman, she's incorrigible.
All right. So then she's just saying like that they should have filed the motions and for proper use of the funds towards ethics, professionalism, honesty, and freedom. I honorably utilized my JAC resources and mentorship as a proactive indigent defendant, avidly defending myself against the liars, thieves, and real villains in my criminal case. Who really is the criminal?
You,
The
Sarah, you're
JAC
the actual
hopefully
criminal.
the JAC can hopefully include their forgiveness for them also. Well, she really wants everyone to forgive. Judge Wolfen, is that or is that
W-
Woolen?
looks like Woofin. Could be
Wolfen
Woolen. Could be
Kranek.
Wooten. I don't know. Could be
I
any of
have
those.
great forgiveness for also in not protecting me in listening to my valid request for judicial intervention so I could properly and fairly defend myself against my charges. Instead, I had to defend myself against the attorneys, all appointed by the judge and the court against their lies and exaggerations, reasons unjustifiable why they were really creeping away from the battlefield and abandoning their professional duty as my attorney. Judge Kranick, I forgive you for not giving me any opportunity to stand at your pulpit, to stand at all, to explain the real, truthful side of the story.
Yeah, no,
I
we
bel
get it, Sarah. We get it. Like, your story is that George was a horrible, abusive son of a bitch, and that you were afraid to unzip him or he was going to kill you. We all get your story. We just all reject it, and more importantly, the jury rejected it and they convicted your ass. And
Right.
now you're going to go away and now you're going to write your own appeals for the next 30 years, which I'll sadly probably be reading until the day I die on these lives. Can you imagine her appeals? Oh my
No,
God. Her
no.
appeals are going to be like 400 pages. And you guys are going to be like, oh, read Sarah Boone's appeal, handwritten appeals. Oh God.
All
I'm
right.
already having like PTSD and it hasn't even happened yet.
I know,
Like,
we're
is
not
that
even
a
done this
thing?
one. I believe if the justice system, including yourself, would and should have done any vital homework on the already almost see-through attorneys from being spread so thin and simply sending an email to care about their present workload, number of clients, trial schedules already in place before throwing another inmate defendant, unknowing client on the heaping, unimportant pile of warm bodies. More taxpayer dollars could be conserved. I mean, she's right about this part. And less time consumed and wasted for everyone, regardless of what part they play in the supposed system of justice. My forgiveness is deepened for taking even greater time of mine away years by not caring to ask me anything about anything to understand so you could justfully render your life defining judgments and without any more bias and prejudice. Foremost, Judge Kranick, I forgive you for kicking me when I was down and choking the life out of my constitutional amendments,
Wow.
most profoundly, my Sixth Amendment right to counsel, as a result of my wholehearted something of my first right to free speech and being my own advocate since no one else would be and received a paycheck for. In all of my free speech experience driven letters, only for remedy in any collaboration, receiving my discovery as an inmate, dependent, and client, not remorseful for any attorneys to cause more delays or any reason to excuse you may try to for any excuse you may try to force on me and have already inappropriately accused me of doing prior to your heavily insinuated quote strategies of mine to try and deflect the glaring red flags, disappointments,
Strategizing.
and true crime in and out of the judicial system. To this day and all forward, I do not forfeit my rights to any of them, especially my right to be old. Okay, this part I think she did. My right to be old and outspoken, my right. Um, all right, maybe she didn't. Especially my right to be old, outspoken, and right in my real life experiences with the legal and justice system. You weren't there, Judge Kranick, in anything, no meetings, phone calls, visits, and still took my rights and oppressed harder. I must now defend myself against you, praying you do not care too late as all the others and retaliate further against me as a still proud citizen of the United States of America and freely, excitedly using my God given right to still try and defend myself and
God
stand
bless
all the way up.
America.
For you removed my freedom altogether by allowing the approving my
Uh-oh.
stab wounds, bloody
Oh,
body parts,
oh.
rapes, bumps, bruises, and all of the rest of the beatings I endured. I hope you can finally see and understand just some of the pain from the extreme difficulties, obstacles, and unfairness, especially in my due process, you have added in my criminal case and life as an inmate, defendant, and client. All is forgiven.
Shoo.
I'm trying to see if she did
Feel
all of
lucky.
this, but
I was lucky.
I
All
don't
those people
know.
are so lucky she's forgiven them.
Does anyone know if she forgave the detectives, like Lowen and Copensell. I think we did hear this.
I hope she writes about the stab wound some more. Jack and his aching stab wound. Jack and his throbbing stab wound.
Yeah, she's forgiving the cops for, pretending that she was going to get her phone and then interrogating her for lying to the news, and recording her walk of shame.
Doesn't seem like she forgives anybody for jack shit.
No, they're personally we're calling it
Sir
in
Boone, your words ring hollow, madam.
and then removing the curtain to expose their personally twisted, murdering monster.
Wow.
Taken from my townhouse, the crime scene. I think we heard this too. It makes no difference. All is forgiven. She forgives the prosecutors.
Mr. J and Mr. Cacciatone. Hey, another paisano. Hey, Mr. Cacciatone. Io lo prosecutor the Sarah Boone. Wow. Luigi ruining everything for Italians. Like all the Olive Garden commercials are gonna start popping up again. Real derogatory. Like everybody speaks like that. Like, hey, that's a spicy meatball. Come on in. You wanted the soup? The soup is so good. Come on in. We'll have the soup. Jesus.
Did you remember her including thanking the jury, forgiving the jury in her allocution?
Did she thank the jury? I don't know. Yeah, Phil, she really maximizes the space. That's nothing but like a small void on the paper to her. She doesn't even see that margin there, the left margin. Just writes right over it.
Yep. She didn't lose. God just wanted
she made a little heart.
Yeah, she says, I didn't lose. God just wanted me to win in a different way. Freedom and forgiveness. In the end, I forgive myself for not choosing my life sooner. I definitely remember all of this. Where she's like, I forgive myself for not escaping him. And, blah, blah, blah. I forgive myself for falling in love with him.
You all right, babe?
There is something down here in this basement that gets me coughing.
That's not good.
I know.
That sounds like mold, but I don't think we have any mold issues down there. Are you sure you're not sneaking vape hits?
No, I mean, I do vape, but
I mean,
and then it was like her half-assed apology at the end and asking for forgiveness, which she did read. I am a survivor. Learn to do good, seek justice, rebuke the oppressor, defend the fatherless. Rebuke, sorry. Rebuke the oppressor, defend the fatherless, plead for the widow. Isaiah 1:17, all encompassing, protect the abused, Sarah Boone.
Oh, thank God. Oh, wait, there's more?
No, that's it.
Oh, thank God.
That was me scrolling up.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That was fantastic. That was a wonderful reading. For, pretty, I mean, it kind of makes me feel bad that you can't read my writing at all. I guess hers
She writes very neat.
Oh God.
I thought. All right, while you pull up the next thing, I'm gonna pull more of your birthday and super stickers.
All
Baby
right.
Fish Mouth, thank you for your generosity.
And happy birthday to your 21st birthday to your son. That's amazing. Or daughter. I guess I just made an assumption it was a boy. Could be a daughter. Girls turn 21 too, right?
Happy 21st. I think they do.
21st.
I think they might. And thank you, Dawn Burke, again. Really, Bob, when I can't express myself. And I see that must have been in response to an earlier comment. But thank you for your generosity.
Yes.
Moonlit Baby, thank you for your generosity. Happy birthday, Bob. And Moonlit will be 55 in 5 days. Happy our
Welcome
early
to the double nickel club. Yeah. We love double nickels.
All right, pull up what you're going to pull up next while I do this.
It's ready.
Firmdale became a YouTube member. Wait a minute here. Who's your girl? Coming in hot. Thanks for your generosity. Happy birthday, Bob.
Wow.
Happy birthday, Bob. CRR.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I was like, wait, CCR? Look at that, Mr. Mayhem. Happy birthday, Bob. We love you. Family hug.
Aw. Family hug, huge family hug to all you guys. Thank you for all these wonderful birthday wishes. It's like I can't even tell you how cool it is to we started this channel like probably about a year and some change at this point. I mean, in earnest, like the channel's been around for a minute, but we weren't doing anything on it. And then so we really started live streaming about a year ago. Like I think end October, mid-October, maybe. And to have built this community with you, just beautiful humans, you amazing people that we just love so much, has been a real gift. Like that's the real gift, is that we've been able to do this. And like when I say it's a community, it really is. It's like I think from our end of it, it's like I don't like it's hard for me to even kind of realize that like somebody might like want to wake up and actually look forward to hearing my ass talk. Or, that's such a
It's
weird
crazy.
concept to like kind of wrap your mind
I
around.
like
But
to.
well, you're my ride or die, baby. I mean, I expect that. But
Are
no, I adore all of you. But I really do. Love me or hate me. I love the interaction. I love hanging with you guys. I especially love, it seems like the people that like to gravitate towards this channel are people that are open-minded in terms of willing to listen. Like I consider everybody that really is dedicated to this channel to be an excellent listener, because I can get long-winded, but like typically I have an important point that I'm trying to get across. And I see when it's received, and it really makes me feel amazing. I mean, Allison and I definitely have, I don't know if I'd call it an agenda per se, but like we really want people to have an understanding of the country that they live in, the laws that apply to them, what our rights are. But we want to do it in a way that's fun and interesting. And we want to do it in a way that applies to the cases that are going on that we all like to watch so much. So, I guess what I'm trying to say, and again, in a really long winded way, is thank you guys for everything. Thank you for being a part of our lives for the past year. It means so, so much to us. It really does. It's crazy to think that, like we're 35, whatever, 35,000 subs. And it's like, it's
stick a
just,
zero on it.
I mean, you're ready to jump to like
Yep.
you don't even, when you're
Zeros on it.
when you're at the 350, like the chat is going so fast that it's
It's on a
hard
loop.
to even like, you can't like, because I like that I rarely have to put like a governor on the chat, meaning that I slow it down, because it's going so fast. It's like obviously like Delphi stuff, I'll put a brick on it, but for the most part, like I'm able to follow along. I'm able to see what you guys are saying, because that means something to us, and it definitely, it touches my heart a lot, especially like on a day like today. It's like I'm kind of over birthdays at this point.
And remember, you've got a half hour for what you want to touch on. So
All right,
I just
enough
want to do
enough
these
of me
two
yapping.
more.
Phil, as soon
Mandy.
as I get that lowrider DD car, man, I will do a full 20 minutes of Luigi Mangione for you. And it'll be quality viewing, my friend. I promise you that.
And thank you, Nellie Wood, for your generosity. She says the Japanese thing was taken from a book verbatim.
Oh, so not only is she a murderer, she's a plagiarist.
Jason, thank you for your generosity. Happy birthday. Same day as Taylor Swift.
Mandy.
Have you ever had a client remanded to custody before trial and their treatment in prison was affecting your ability to represent them? A client being denied his heart meds. What does ATM stand for? Like as an
At the
example or
moment.
at
At
the
the
moment?
moment.
So we're not going to give a long answer now, but we did, and it's a case we talk about a lot. It's the Anthony Garcia case. It is season 2 of Defense Diaries, the podcast, which is also on.
Bukaki?
I'm gonna hurt Mandy.
Yeah, that was actually me.
Oh, both of you children. Um,
Can I ask
so
you one more question? What and what accessories do I sell for a living?
propane.
Yes, nailed it. Nailed it.
All right, but thank you for your generosity and check it out because yes, I never had a client being denied heart meds, but you've got to go to like depending on what state you are, there's different government agencies that you can complain to. And if there's a client not getting their medication, I've definitely dealt with that. And I just call directly to the like the medical, call up the jail or the prison and say, "Can you patch me through the medical?" And I tell them, "Look, you don't need to tell me anything if you don't have um, a what's it called?
What?
A release signed to share information, but my client's not getting his medication. I need you guys to look into it. And by the way, take my client form so he can sign an authorization so that you can talk to me and tell me when he does get his medicine. All right, babe, you pull up what's next." And
Okay.
I signed up for AARP the day I turned 50. But you know what? The
All the discounts.
discounts are for shit, actually. So
They suck. It's
yeah.
like I was renting a car at Avis the other day, and like Allie's like, "Don't forget your AARP discount." I'm like, "I think the preferred renter thing is a better discount." The dude's like, "Yeah, I think so. I think it is." All right. So if you guys are not aware, recently, I think actually either yesterday or today, a woman named Brianna Boston down in Florida was arrested because apparently she had a little bit of a kerfuffle with her insurance company. They were denying a claim, and she popped off a little bit. She threw out the old, deny, defend, depose. And you're next, I think, is what she said to this person on the other line for the insurance company. They're obviously on high alert, thinking that everybody in the country wants to kill them. So they call the call into the feds. They end up arresting the woman, and we're going to take a peek at her first day in court. So, because it's interesting. It's like if you're taking the temperature online, it really coincides with Luigi's case. Luigi Mangione. I don't know why they arrested me. It's a bullshit.
You guys should have seen us out to dinner last night with our friends for Bob's birthday in a small restaurant with Bob and the rest of the table just doing exactly that in their full voice. It was
Oh,
it
are you
was a
saying
sight.
we were having like a full blown
Yeah, you guys were
like
yeah.
faux Italian conversation? Yeah.
No, you just said that you just did that.
Yeah, it was
Screamed out
so
his
I
name.
had a blast doing it.
All of you did.
It was so good. It was so
People were
fun.
looking over like, "What the hell are these people
Oh,
doing?"
they know. They knew what was going on. Huh? All right. So you ready for this crack report team from Channel 10 in Tampa Bay? All right, let's go. Let's see what's
He
up.
is behind bars, accused of making threats to an insurance company over the phone. The FBI says 42-year-old Brianna Boston used the phrase delay, deny, and depose in an outburst while speaking with a Blue Cross Blue Shield agent.
Yeah, this is similar to the phrase police found on evidence at the scene of the insurance CEO's murder in Tampa Bay's Aduria Chumba. Live with us in studio this evening. Tell us what we've learned so far.
So those words found last week on the bullet casing in Brian Thompson's murder, and they're considered very serious. Now, tonight, Brianna Boston is learning a hard lesson after investigators say she used those very exact words during a phone call. Now, according to an affidavit from Lakeland Police, Boston made the threats on December 10 after being denied medical insurance claims. Now, the document quotes Boston as saying, delay, deny, depose. You people are next, to an agent on the phone just before the call ended. Now, Blue Cross and Blue Shield was alerted, or rather alerted the FBI. They in turn contacted Lakeland Police, and Boston was subsequently arrested. She now faces charges of written threats to conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism. Now, in court today, the state requested elevated bond and very strict pretrial release conditions. Boston's attorney said the words from the mom of three with no prior convictions should not be taken seriously as she doesn't own or have access to firearms. But the judge was not lenient.
There is probable cause for the charge. The charge is written threat to kill or injure conduct a mass shooting or an act of terrorism as a
Wow.
second-degree felony punished by 15 years in Florida State Prison. I do find that the bond of $100,000 is appropriate considering the status of our country at this point.
While Boston may not have access to weapons, there are concerns about online rhetoric and copycats targeting other healthcare CEOs and business leaders. Now, here's what NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism said about the issue, and it's a sentiment shared by law enforcement leaders.
There are also posters that we've seen online and in New York with various CEOs' pictures on them. These are perceived threats, and it is important for everybody to know that we will take these threats very seriously.
Under Florida law, penalties for making such threats can land you in prison for 15 years.
She's not looking
convicted.
happy.
For now, the judge says if Boston meets her bond, she'll remain on restricted house arrest with an ankle monitor. She also must have no contact with any Blue Cross Blue Shield staff, whether in person or electronically. In studio, Aduria Chumba, 10 Tampa Bay.
So there you go. So what do you think of that, Allie?
I mean, I think they need to take it very seriously right now because it's a slippery slope. But as a defense attorney, I think it's excessive. It's unfair. You're not supposed to be making an example of people pre-trial. But as taking off my attorney hat, I can see why they want to take it very seriously. They need to nip it in the bud before you have people just, calling. Like I had a client once who was definitely he was, you could tell, mentally unstable, like that he wasn't there. And he's saying stuff to the FBI on the phone that, was like, yeah, if you read into it a certain way, it was a threat, but it wasn't a threat. And then they charge him like with some, really high felony of like threatening the life of an agent. It's kind of taking it to that type of level. But
I guess my bigger question, and I agree with everything that you said, in particular, it's clear that the judge was very much sending a message by setting the bond that high on what I'm not sure. I didn't pull up the statute, what level felony, or if it even is a felony. I'm assuming that they charge her with the felony, but the question becomes, can they meet the elements of the statute? It seems like them's just words, but timing is everything,
and you can't make bond so high that it is the constitutional equivalent to a denial of bond.
Right. And the other part of it is it turns out she's got, home confinement. So she's on a bracelet. So it sounds like she's getting released to her house.
Yeah.
You know what she's not going to do again is call up her insurance company and threaten to kill him.
Right.
So it's but you're exactly right. I mean, that story, I think everybody, I'm surprised that some of the bigger kind of news legacy media didn't pick it up and kind of run with it as kind of like a mandate from big money saying, hey, get this story out there.
Be forewarned.
Because people need to know, this shit's not going to be taught. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's an interesting story. We'll follow it. I think she's going to really, she's going to regret that.
20 minutes and counting, babe.
All right. I better kick it. All right. So there's our update on the brand spanking new Brianna Boston.
And Sinead, thank you for your generosity. Bob looks like he's settling into his new year just fine and dandy in that shirt. Hope you guys have a great night out.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do this now because I know we got to pop off at 5:30. So
wait, do we have to get off at 5:30?
You got to be in the car at 5:40 in the car.
5:30.
Right. And it takes your dad a little while, and I've got to pack up I cooked some peppers.
Hey.
Murky
Yeah, you
piglet.
cooked them up. What? I almost busted into a full-blown Luigi right there.
Sorry. Thank you for your generosity. People would have loved it. Me and Duck welcome you to the Double Nickel Club. And one of our granddaughters became a teen today. Happy birthday.
Murky
Well,
Piglet.
happy birthday to your granddaughter.
Thank
That's
you. Thank you. I'm happy to be
amazing.
part of the club. Look, the reality is like age is just a number. Really, you're only as old as you feel.
Yeah, and I
And
feel
I
pretty
feel
old.
not a day over like 52. I mean, no, yeah, I mean, some days I feel like I'm in my like mid 30s, and there's other days where I feel like in terms of like, fortunately, knock on wood, if there's wood in there, I
I got
don't
some.
have like aches and pains. I seem to have my health. I'm terrified. Allison's made a doctor's appointment for me in January, and it's been way too long. Like, I haven't had all the testing shit you're supposed to have
Yeah,
done
he
by the
keeps
time you're
not
hitting.
showing up every time I make an appointment. He went so long that the doctor that he sees, he needs to have a new patient appointment, and the doctor is out past February of 20, I mean, July of 2026 or something.
Yeah, I
So he
mean,
had to get a new
Sarah,
doctor in that practice.
it's more than words, though. It's more than words. I mean, like if it's perceived as a threat, you
She
know,
said you're next. I mean, that's why you're right. You know, you have your First Amendment right, but
right,
once it turns to a threat, all bets are off. Now, if she hadn't said you're next and she just said defend, deny, depose, she'd have something there. And
right.
thank you, Dr. Russell, late to the party. Happy birthday, Bob.
Thanks, Dr. Russell. Dr. Russell CV. All right, so which reminds me, so our plan was to go, like, originally today we were going to go through Karen Reed's hearing, which was yesterday. Dr. Russell, who is a defense expert, she is their dog bite expert, was on the stand for what they call a what I'm
Daubert
blanking on,
hearing.
Daubert hearing.
And that's where the state is saying that she is not qualified to give an opinion, and that her opinion is not based on scientific knowledge or specialized knowledge, such that it would help the jury understand the case or understand the evidence over and above them just using their own general understanding and knowledge. This Dr. Russell is extremely qualified. Before I start just like talking, do we know if the judge issued a ruling on it? Oh no, it was continued. The hearing was continued.
Yeah,
But
it was
who knows?
very lengthy, and I think, like, and Allie and I watched a bulk of it yesterday. We got through a majority of the direct, which was lengthy,
And
and
most of the issues raised are proper for cross-examination. Like I was a little bit surprised at some of the judge's questions because it was as though she was giving credence to some of the prosecution's arguments, like about articles that she read, because she was like, which article are when the witness answered as to the articles she read that dealt with this one was like patterns of dog bites. The judge asked her, can you which one is it in your list? So I was like, wow, she really thinks that that's important. Like she's not satisfied with what she's heard thus far. So it gives me pause. It gives me pause with this judge. Now, clearly the judge already let the witness testify. So
right,
it would be highly unusual, like odd for her to now say she's not qualified to testify. And obviously the prosecution's fighting this so hard because this is where reasonable doubt lays, but it's where reasonable doubt laid the first time around, and it didn't do any good. Well, I mean, I guess it
yeah.
did some good because they didn't get like a conviction, but so
I mean,
reasonable.
and I agree. I think it's going to go ultimately, like, she's got to let her in. She's highly qualified. She's done everything. She's been a forensic pathologist forever. She's obviously dealt with dog bites. Like, it's got to go not to admissibility. It's got to go to weight. She's got to, I mean, because what you saw yesterday on the cross examination by Brennan is what you will see at trial. So it begs the question, as much as I admire who Dr. Russell is in terms of a human being and her education and her experience. I mean, the woman's done everything, and she's done it well. I mean, she's an incredibly impressive human being. But Alice and I were having the question last night. She is an expert in terms of dog bites that you can poke holes in if you're the state. Like, that,
Right.
just make no bones about that. Like, I just understand that. Like, I am sure that there are people that exist in the world, and I know that Melanie's had a guy on who they would poke holes in him in a different way, who, he's not a medical doctor, but he works with dogs all the time. He knows everything about dogs, seen a million dog bites, so there's always going to be something that you can poke holes in. But the problem with Dr. Russell is going to be that you saw what the holes are, that she's really not learned in the ways of dog bites, and in the way that, like, you could put them up there and say, this person knows everything there is to know about dog bites and how to recognize them. And you know what I'm saying? So, but again, that goes to weight.
Right, but tell
It
them why
doesn't
you're
go to admissibility.
so you're saying that because tell them that your conclusion
Well, like I was concluding that it's a potential issue that they couldn't find another expert,
to say what
a true dog bite expert, to say what Russell's saying. So that, I mean, like, I've had cases like that. I've had cases. I think I told you guys, like, months and months ago, about a burn case that we had, where I just, like, the wound was to a child. The allegation was that our client had tossed or that held his child's hand over a stove. So, like,
it was absurd.
unbelievably, like, horrific crime. And, like,
And they all agreed it could not have happened that way. They all agreed it could not have happened that way, but they
right.
just thought the child, explained it wrong.
And it was a very strange looking wound, because
And it was
it was very
debris.
uniform. It was circle. It was about the size of the quarter, and it was like right on the palm of the hand, or on the top of the hand.
But it had been
So,
debris and a flap cut before a
and
picture was
he had
taken.
put arnica on the wound to try to treat it like an idiot, not knowing that that was probably the worst thing you could put on it. So in the case, so at any rate, I searched for a doctor, because I would send the discovery off to potential experts, doctors. They're like, yeah, that's a burn. I'm like, wait, but, like, here's the fact pattern. Yeah, that's a burn. He's like, are you blind? I'm like, do you want to hear any of the facts? He's like, sure, tell me the fact. Like, and this was
It's a burn.
legions of doctors, like tons of doctors. I'm like, oh my God, there's got to be somebody, so it could be one of those situations, because they know. And the reason that I'm saying that is that they know, as much as we may love Dr. Russell, this isn't a personal thing. This is about trying to win a case for your client. You know that she's got some ability to be able to be picked on a bit on the stand, and that has to concern you. And the other thing, and I'm going to say, and I'm not going to prolong the Karen Reed thing in this live, but if I am Yannetti and Jackson and Elise, I am completely abandoning, whether it's true or it's not true. I am abandoning the conspiracy thing. Allie was like, yeah, like, maybe you put Dr. Russell on for the dog bite to explain the injuries on the arm, and then you just lean in to the two gifts from God known as the Crash Daddies, Rensselaer and Wolf. Those
Right.
guys, they're not hired guns by either side, and they literally, what they testify to is reasonable doubt. Like that, like, it quit being so, like, if I'm them, I'd be pushing them to say, hey man, like, we're trying to win the case for our client. I know you're trying to exonerate her, but I'll tell you what,
This is
whoever
not
thinks that
the
Karen
time.
Reed hit him, they're not going to give a shit what a jury says. They're still going to think there is no exoneration for Karen Reed. And there never will be, in terms of the people that think that she hit John O'Keefe. They
Right, they'll
will
just think that
forever
these
and
slick
ever.
lawyers got her off.
Right. They'll
regardless of
always
what
think
they
that.
do.
So,
But
the shift should be to, let's win the case, because I just think it's going to be I've said this a million times, it's going to be near impossible. And you may be like, dude, I completely believe that he got his ass beat in that house, and that was what I know. And that may be true, but you're trying to win the case. You are trying to win the case. And the way that you win that case is by reasonable doubt, by just showing that they cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt that what they're saying happened to John O'Keefe happened to John O'Keefe. That's how you win the case. It's that simple. This is like, this
Agreed,
Karen.
sir.
So, that's where I'm
but
at.
we are going to. So they either continued it, and I'm sorry because I don't remember now, to the 30th of December, or like the 6th or the 10th, the 6th or 10th of January. But Bob and I will revisit that when they are coming back for the continuation of that hearing closer in time. So you'll get it then. And babe, you got 10 minutes. Pick something good.
Yeah, no. So I think Allie and I would both agree that neither of us love that Boston arrest, but it was predictable. I think
What
ultimately
Boston arrest?
the Brianna Boston, because a lot of people are like, I don't like that arrest. I think it's shitty. Look, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. Okay. Like First Amendment, like people conflate what the First Amendment actually is. Remember, always keep this in mind when you're thinking about the Constitution. The Constitution is a guidebook for the government, what they can't do to us.
And what
People
we're
always
allowed to do.
misstate what the First Amendment is. The government cannot create laws which infringe on our First Amendment rights of free speech. So like that's what the First Amendment's about. Like people always get it wrong. So, but this is a thing where it was predictable that was going to happen because of the climate that's going on right now. I think ultimately that thing's going to get kicked down the road, but I think that it's going to serve a purpose. I agree. Like, if we were handling the case, we'd be fighting it like hell. Like I'd be saying, oh, now, because it's more than a thought crime, because she said,
You're next.
you're next.
Right.
You understand? Like if you're on the receiving end of that phone call and you work for an insurance company, you're probably not loving that statement. And you very well might perceive it as a threat. You always have to try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes when you're trying to think about things.
And I think
it was a fucking, like, if you were to ask Brianna Boston if she would do things differently, I guarantee you she very much would.
Right. And sorry to interrupt, but thanks Shiraz for paying to tell you need your colonoscopy. You got to get your cancer screening.
I know. I'm going.
Thank you, Shiraz.
Thank you,
Thanks for your
Shiraz.
generosity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larissa, for your generosity. And thank you, Jessica, for your generosity. Happy birthday, Bob. I'm currently being punished for my crime of laundry hiatus. No family sympathy given yet. Ha ha ha. All right, what do you got for us in our last 8 minutes?
All right. See, I don't even think I can handle it. So we're gonna I wanted to do Corey Richins. I am 100% doing Corey Richins. That is a case that I am following. That is a case I very much want to dig into. I think it's a fascinating case. I think it's a disturbing case. It's got all the things. And she had a hearing yesterday. And I've got a lot of people that are really wanting me to cover that pretty heavily, and I'm going to. So I'm going to save that probably till Tuesday. I'm going to be traveling on Monday, getting back into town. I'm hoping I can talk my wife into doing a live if I can come up with a subject matter. But I'm going to handle the Corey Richins hearing next Tuesday. If you guys don't know what the Corey Richins case is, we did kind of a primer about a month ago on that case. It's a crazy case. It's the one where she's alleged to have overdosed her husband with like fentanyl, serving him a big old delicious Moscow Mule, just chock filled with fentanyl, which ultimately ended up killing him. Only guilty man in Shawshank. It's a loop. Only guilty man in Shawshank.
Oh Lord, she's like, I got it, Bob. Now you're getting one more.
She does not have a hold of the Hot Pockets. That one just runs away from her. All right.
Oh Lord.
Oh, I stand corrected. All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about, we're going to end it on Luigi. Slow down. All right. So Luigi, basically what's going on right now is he's got a couple of court dates. Okay. In Pennsylvania. It sounds like he's got one on the 23rd of December and then another one on the 30th. There's rumblings that he may in fact be waiving extradition. I think ultimately you're just delaying the inevitable. Like they're going to get him into New York. There's like fighting extradition is never ending up with him walking out of jail. and not being charged with the crimes ever.
No, it's a waste of money.
It's a waste of time and money. So, and when I'm looking at this article, they say, and it's interesting, you can see, like, especially the Times and like the New York Times and ABC News, they've really tried to pivot from putting like the handsome pictures of him, and you're seeing like this picture a lot. This picture, so you can see when the media is trying to change the narrative of a case. It's like, it's interesting when you watch it in real time, right? Like, so this is going to be the picture you're going to see a majority of the time from mainstream media. I'll continue to show all the pictures just because I'm not trying to push anybody one way or another. Like, we're all allowed to have our thoughts on it. Alice and I are very clear. You know, like, the sentiments are correct. The things that he's saying are correct. You just don't murder people for it. It's not, it's like you can't do it. We can't become that comfort. We can't become that country. We just can't do it. So, as far as the news, it sounds like there's new video evidence that shows that Mangione left the George Washington Bridge bus station, went south to Penn, and left New York City by a train to Philadelphia. So he did the old slipperoo, you know. And it's like, this dude knew he was on camera. You don't think that a guy with both his bachelor's and master's in computer science from the University of Penn understands that there's surveillance cameras in every fucking place that he went? Of course he did. You don't think he thinks that there's surveillance in Penn Station or the Amtrak or whatever train or wherever he went?
In New York's like
What'd you say, babe?
surveillance in like these
Yeah.
stations in New
I mean,
York.
look,
What?
it's not like London. Like, you're really on the grid there, you know. So,
All right,
all right.
time to say goodbye.
Is it time? All right, let me see if there was anything else. So here's where they said that the word on the street is that Mangione may waive extradition to New York City as early as Tuesday. And that's coming straight from the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg. So indications are the defendant may waive, but that waiver is not complete until a court proceeding. So,
And I'm just going to say this. I think that he's not going to get your usual route, which could take weeks to get where you're going. And this is just a guess that they're going to want to have him in New York quick because people are going to be like, where the hell is this guy? We want him in New York already. Where, you know, but maybe not. Maybe it will take like your typical weeks as they stop at every jail along the way from Pennsylvania from Altoona to New York City.
yeah, and it's going to be a crazy case. And the one thing that I might dip on, like tomorrow early evening, there's this weird thing with the 286. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was talking about it with Cameron today. I don't even think Allie's seen it. Like, just the use of the number 286 seemed to be a bunch of Easter eggs that he planted all over the place in his socials and things that he's written and things that he's said. So this number 286 thing, try to contain yourself and don't peek. There's some pretty interesting theories about.
Everyone just looked it up, babe.
I know. I blew it. So, all right, we're going to wrap it. We do have to go. We're going to celebrate with little family dinner. We're going to enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for your generosity.
Thank you for your generosity and birthday wishes.
Did you get everybody, Bay?
Got them all.
You're the best. Awesome. All right. You guys are the best. We love you guys so much. I hope you guys all have a fabulous weekend. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Hug your kids. Do all the things that matter in life. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe I won't. I'm traveling to St. Louis. So
yeah, that's not happening tomorrow. So
wow, she shut it down, kids.
You've got a lot. You're getting up in the morning, going to the airport. You got to be interviewing people. Your mind's got to be on that.
So I constantly forget to thank our mods Thank you, mods. We love you. I know you
Very
know
much.
I love you, but and that Allie loves you guys, but it's important for us to give you guys the recognition you deserve because you guys are amazing and we couldn't do this without you. We thank you for being here all the time. Every live with us, you guys are the best in the business. And to all you beautiful humans. To all of you beautiful humans. Oh, Trace. Oh, Steve.
And don't make
Steve.
a toy
Thanks, man. Thanks for the late pop in.
start a podcast called Colonoscopy Diaries. You guys can all check in because his appointment didn't end up being until January 20 something. So everybody be on his ass. And if Steve's here, we talked earlier about you and I possibly doing like a drone.
No,
thing.
this is Steve Pachenko, our buddy. So if you guys have never listened to Trace Evidence, Steve is a dear friend of ours. So is Alicia. I don't know which one of them's behind this. It's probably Alicia. She seems to like dig into this, but it could be Steve. It could be either one of them. Amazing humans. Steve, like it's a great podcast. It's one of my favorites, frankly. Yep. So thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that. Or sister, whichever one. If it's bro or sis, whichever. Thank you guys. You caught us at the ass end here. So we appreciate that. Because remember, y'all, without y'all, I'm just an old man
who hasn't been to the doctor yet.
Hot